my bookish lovelies, Kira here, and today I am going to be doing a review for Serpent and Dove. I literally just finished this morning. This is one of those books like that I don't even feel like I really need to have it resonate. I kind of just know how I feel about it, and I freaking loved it. So overall, this book is about Reed. He's a Chaucer, and Chaucer's in Cesarine, which is the name of the city that they live in, from a very young age are trained to hunt witches. And there's only so many spots that are available for hunting witches. So because of this limited availability for it, there is much competition to become a Chaucer. Reed is the captain of the Chaucers, and the Archbishop raised Reed from a very young age to become a Chaucer. Chaucers have it ingrained in them that all witches are bad. There's no good witch, there's no such thing as a good witch. Magic is bad, it's unholy, it goes against the church. So because of that, Chaucers cannot stand witches, they cannot stand anything to do with witches. One day Reed sees this man with a mustache and realizes that it's not actually a man. It's this girl named Lou. Lou is a street urchin. She's been on the street for a couple of years now. Something really traumatic happened with her family, and she is still trying to recover from that. She's actually in hiding, and she's trying to escape her past. But her past is slowly coming to haunt her. In the midst of all that, Lou meets Reed. Reed is this very pristine, pure person. He's very much a part of the church, and he doesn't cuss whatsoever. He's very, very stately. But because he is so stately, when he meets Lou, she cusses like a ton. She's very, very foul-mouthed. And something very public happens to where they are kind of forced into marrying each other. And from there, like, it's kind of like this hate to love type trope, and I really love those, but there's all of like this angsty banter mixed in with it, and I absolutely just loved all the angsty banter. I know a lot of people really, really love that hate to love trope, but I kind of walk a thin line to whether or not I realize like whether or not it's well balanced with the entire storyline. I'm not a huge fan of the hate to love trope being the entire plot or the majority of the plot. I kind of like a combination of really like just hate at the beginning, and it kind of eases into an actual fluid relationship. But I don't like them to get into a relationship so late in the book that I never have an actual opportunity to really experience the couple themselves. And I felt for all intents and purposes that this book handled that very well. I got enough of the angsty banter and enough of the in-between kind of easing into it, and then enough of like them actually having a relationship to be extremely satisfied with the overall structure of the plot line. Now, there's been a lot of debate regarding whether or not this can be classified as a new adult novel or a young adult novel. And honestly, like, after reading this book, I really feel like this is more of a new adult novel rather than a young adult novel. And the reason why is because, yes, there's a ton of cussing in it. There is a ton of cussing. There's cussing in YA books regardless in general. So that's not really what kind of convinced me that this was a new adult book versus a YA book. What convinced me of this being a new adult book is the context of the cussing and one very particular, very well described sex scene that is in this. So that kind of really like just kind of pushed me into thinking that this is more new adult than young adult. The context of the cussing and the context in general and some portions of this book really kind of made me realize like that, yes, this is probably not novice stuff to teens, but for a young adult book to be this blatant about some of the context really kind of convinced me like that this probably ranges more on new adult, although it's still very much borderline. If we were to classify this as a new adult novel, it would be the lesser of a new adult novel. I definitely don't think it's as explicit as, say, Red, White, and Royal Blue. Like, I definitely don't think it's as explicit as that because there's multiple sex scenes. The descriptions were definitely a lot more blatant. But like, let's go ahead and just mention Sarah J. Maas for a second too. Sarah J. Maas is also very, very descriptive, and I feel like that one sex scene really did kind of remind me more of Sarah J. Maas as far as like sex scenes go. Now, honestly, like all of the characters in this were extremely, extremely likable. I really loved Reed in this. Reed was just a sheltered guy. He's lived his entire life being a Chaucer. He knows nothing else. He doesn't know anything else about anything outside the church. So this is his entire life, and so he supports that. It's been ingrained in him, especially because he hangs on the Archbishop's every word. And so anything that Archbishop feels, he feels also. Now, at the beginning, neither Lou nor Reed are very happy with this whole arranged marriage thing. And because they're not happy with it, they argue a lot. Like, they're both from two entirely different backgrounds, and Lou has had to make a lot of really tough choices the last couple of years that have kind of led her down a path very different from Reed's. Lou has a ton of enemies, a ton of people that are hunting her, and her past is slowly catching up to her. Not only did I love the fact that Lou was so blatantly herself in this, the taunting, and and you can definitely tell like a lot of it was her trying to not fall into a situation where she was going to get hurt again. I really loved how blatantly clear that was to the situation. In this town, even consorting with witches is kind of against everything. Along with the two main characters, Reed and Lou, we have a few really awesome supporting characters as well. We have Ansel, who actually acts as Lou's bodyguard for a while, and he's the cutest little bean. Oh man, he is just adorable, and he's pretty much like very pristine, just like Reed is as far as Chaucers go. He's not quite a Chaucer yet, he's still in training, and he's hoping to get one of those limited spots next time the trial happens. Then we have Lou's best friend, Coco. Coco is a witch, and of course, like, behind the scenes, just like Lou, she's hiding for the fact that she is a witch. Lou is very powerful as a witch herself, but she hides it a little bit more because she hasn't had the ability or the time to practice. In this world, when you do magic, you create this scent. It leaves a scent, a very strong, sweet scent. And so that's how the Chaucers or the Archbishop or anybody around you knows that magic had been done here, because it leaves a scent after the magic has already been done. And of course, if it's not covered up or if it's not cleaned up, then that scent also lingers on the person who conducted it or was present for the magic. It's pretty common knowledge among the other Chaucers that this whole arranged marriage thing between Reed and Lou wasn't exactly like what either one of them had in mind. They kind of received like a lot of flack for that, but in spite of all of that, like, there's so much tenderness that Reed kind of displays for Lou, and I just absolutely loved all of that, because like I kept smiling and I would giggle, and like the banter made me giggle too, but it was just such a great book, and I really, really enjoyed this. So I definitely do recommend this book. It was really, really good, and I think that everybody should definitely read this, especially if you love that hate to love trope, and then you love, like a witch hunter marrying a witch. I mean, what more can you really ask for? And not to mention, I just found out, like, when I was searching for this, that this is going to be the first in a series, and they definitely did leave this to where they could continue on with it. There's a lot of area still left to explore in this, and I'm so excited. And it's going to be forever until we get the next book. So, alright guys, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you guys like this review. If you guys like this little review, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It really helps me out if you do that. Also, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon. Those links are linked in the description below. I'm also conducting a survey, like right now, a satisfaction survey for my channel. I would really appreciate it if you guys went ahead and did that. I also have a link in the bottom for that as well. There's about 6 questions. It's very short, just answer like what you can. I would really appreciate it. That like way I know what I need to start doing on my channel and what I need to stop. So it would really help me out if you guys did that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon.